Oh, hi, how's it going? This is episode 69 of Low Profile. I'm your host and producer, Mark Lee Morrison, and today we're going to be hanging out with one of my very favorite up-and-coming, I guess you could say, country singers, Austin Leonard Jones. Austin, like the city he's named for, is from Texas, which you'll be hearing more about in a bit, and currently calls Southern California his home.
When you wake up in the morning with no way to hold your head that just don't hurt, it's a cup of coffee pouring and a younger woman crying in her skirt. No, you're just a dreamer, you still have to punch the clock and go to work. Sorry entertainer, nobody understands how much it hurts. Don't cry, Sylvia, everything and everyone comes to an end. Don't cry, Sylvia, someday man and ape will meet again as friends.
In the past year, he's released 4 albums on cassette tape, a live record, a collection of new songs called Dead Calm, and a 10-year retrospective in 2 volumes called The Wonder Years of Austin Leonard Jones. He's the guy who helped me facilitate my Season 1 interview with Bobby Frank Brown, one of the most popular episodes I put out to date. And since then, I've discovered Austin's albums and literally cannot stop listening and singing along. I rank him alongside my favorite American songwriters, right up there with Chris Christopherson and David Berman and, Stephen Merritt. You might have heard his live performance and interview a few months ago from the Shirler Sundays concert series. If not, you might want to check that out after this to get a double dose of goodies from this guy. Today, we're talking tour stories, hanging out in Mexico, veggie burgers, the Beach Boys, and riding around in the pickup with his best friend, Shenandoah.
Mr. Morrison, how are you, sir?
Hey, Austin Leonard Jones. Good to hear you, man.
Good to hear from you, man. How you been?
I've been, in general, pretty blessed, I'd say.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, and you're in Olympia, right?
Yeah. And where are you, Austin?
I'm in Ojai, California, in Ventura.
Nice.
Ventura County. Yeah.
It's beautiful
You
out
ever been
there.
up here?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. I like to go thrift store shopping in Ventura, downtown.
Dude, yes. That is true knowledge. It is some of the best thrifting in Southern California.
Yeah.
Oxnard too.
Oh yeah, I haven't hit Oxnard, but
yeah, that's the little town next to Ventura, but it's a good run.
Hey yo, artists and musicians.
Who, us?
Yeah, do you want your own vinyl records?
Yeah, but I can't order 1,000 of them. Or wait like a year to get them. Yeah, we're going on tour in 2 months.
Check out our friends lathecuts.com. They'll make you vinyl singles in quantities as small as 50 copies and as quickly as 3 or 4 weeks.
Get out of here.
You heard me right. All their pricing is a la carte, and they can help you pick a package that fits your budget.
Okay, who we talk to about this?
You need to email my buddy Mike. His address is lathecuts@yahoo.com. And if you mention Low Profile, you'll get a 10% overrun on your order.
So if I order 50 records?
Mike's gonna send you 55.
If I order 75, I guess you would get 82 and a half?
Something like that. Remember, you gotta mention Low Profile to get that deal, and it won't be around forever.
What was the address again?
That's lathecuts@yahoo.com. Custom-made records in small quantities. Mention Low Profile to get a 10% overrun on your order.
And emailing now.
Well, man, you got a new tape that'll be out by the time this episode's out called Dead Calm.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I've been listening to that, and I wonder if the Australia song is like truly autobiographical. Is that like pretty much a journal entry, or?
Pretty much, yeah. So it was actually written in Australia, like on my phone on a park bench in the morning after show, drinking a bunch of coffee, and kind of shelved because I went inside and I played it for the guys, and they were like, I think kind of thrown off by the straightforwardness of it and the immediacy of it, and I was more self-conscious then about what other people thought than I am now, and so I kind of shelved it. And then when I was doing this, I was like, I really like that, and I really want to do it, and it's funny to kind of look back on it, but it basically is kind of a journal entry with some exaggerations and to fit the cadence and rhyme.
Well, I just like that it's a good old fashioned country song.
yeah.
Last night in Melbourne, some kid stopped to tell me my music was too country for this town. I had just played a show and heading for the door, I stopped and took a real hard look around. Couple of kids dancing in adamant t-shirts, their hair spiked up all yellow, pink, and green. I had to laugh, there I was, 34 years old, trapped inside another teenage music scene. When we got to Perth, I busted laughing at the band, trying so hard to make everybody cry. Singer was whining and wailing like a fish, like a weak and watered down Ian Mackay. Nobody noticed that the 80s were all gone. We were pretty far from Washington, D.C. So I picked up my guitar and I tried to laugh it off. Here I go, another teenage music scene.
So I just love country music. I always have. I've lived it my whole life. It's just something that's always been there, and I've always wanted to explore it more, and this was a way for me to begin that. I'm probably going to do it again for a few more albums.
And you lived there, right? In Texas.
Yeah. I'm from Texas. Yeah, I grew up in Texas. My family's been there a really long time, from San Antonio.
Nice. Yeah, I was just watching Heartworn Highways the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Got a lot of love for Texas. Jerry Jeff, who I kind of hear in your stuff a little bit.
Yes, definitely. I mean, he's a big influence, and a influence from young days. He's good for kids, I think. And just always loved him and his stuff. But he's I would say he's a direct influence for sure.
What brought you to Ojai?
I really wanted to live in California, and I can't handle Los Angeles. And I'd been to Ojai, and I like Ventura very much. And I just found a place on Craigslist one day that was kind of perfect and affordable. And so I took it and just left. Never came back.
Did you already live on the West Coast when you wrote Surf Motel?
No, but I was doing a ton. All the touring I did, like when I met you in Olympia, was all West Coast based. My music has not crossed the Mason-Dixon line. I've played in the South a little bit, and then mostly lots of West Coast. So I spent a ton of time driving up and down the West Coast.
The day they teach the 8 to ride, that's the day I'll make my home out west. They don't need me in the movies, and nobody buys my records now, I guess. I was a cowboy actor in my heyday, making money on a saddle sore. They killed me off
Texas, and the closest town across the border from you, I'm assuming, was Juarez, because you wrote a song about Juarez.
Yes, it's not the closest border town, but it fit the song the most, and it was more specific. It was more about a kind of cowboy movie director, Western movie director gone off the rails, or a cowboy movie actor who's lost his job and lost his money and is alcoholic and addicted to drugs, and decides to cross the border from El Paso to Juarez to drink himself to death. But it had nothing to do with the distance. It's just more, I think, fits better.
Have you ever been to Juarez?
I have not been to Juarez, and I've been to El Paso many times. But that's one of the border towns I've never been to. The border towns I went to growing up were south, as opposed to West Texas, South Texas, like Nuevo Laredo.
What went down over there? Why would you go there?
Just to go to Mexico. It wasn't that far.
Mm-hmm.
Around my teenage years, kids would go to buy drugs, pills from the pharmacies.
What's the most wholesome thing you've done in Mexico?
I've only done wholesome things. I'd say soccer on the beach with my family and a bunch of kids, local kids.
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Vallarta, and art museums in Mexico City and Monterrey.
When I was a kid, I would go to Tijuana, and like we would go there. Like if someone in the family was getting married, that was the place you go if you're going to get a bunch of suits tailored, like in a hurry.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, and I bet it has a similar vibe.
And or you buy a used car and you want to get like a classy paint job. And
yeah, I can see that.
And then since I've moved up to the Northwest where they don't have fluoride in the water.
Oh, yeah.
I fly down or drive down to Tijuana and go see my dentist because she's going to charge me about 20% of whatever the locals are going to charge me.
Yeah, I know lots of people who go to Mexico for dental work and big, like big jobs and stuff, teeth replaced.
But I've been to Juarez twice.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
On tour in El Paso both times. The first thing we did was we started looking for like a hotel where we could stay at. And the first place we went into, we walked like up 2 flights of stairs, and there was TV on behind the check-in desk. The TV was on. Yeah. There was like a full cigarette that had just been lit burning in the ashtray on the counter, but no one in sight. And all the doors to all the bedrooms were open. And they like had like a sign posting a very low rate for a night there. But we're just like,
that's extremely suspicious.
So we were stupid and we just walked around in there looking for an employee. And we just walked through all their hotel rooms.
The same thing.
And we didn't see anything. We're like, well, we could just crash here, but seems a little sketchy.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to wake up to somebody with a gun in your face.
And then the next place we went to, we stopped and like talked to the person at the counter who was there, and they said, "Okay, how many hours?"
Yeah, that's always a good sign.
How about a mountain? How about a tree? How about some leaves blowing around in the breeze? How about a golden light? How about an incoming tide? Pack up my dog and then it's back in the truck. Telephone's ringing but I don't give a f***. I'm on a morning high. The ocean's coming inside. Out of my window
Hotel, man, that tune kind of evokes to me like the things I feel when I listen to like 70s Beach Boys.
Yeah, and that was a direct inspiration. There's even kind of references in there.
I thought there was references. What is it, Big Sur or? There's
a lot. There's that. There's Kokomo. And just kind of the spirit of Mike Love in general, and some of the vocal phrasing. But it's kind of like a Beach Boys tribute song in a way.
The Mike Love version of Beach Boys is playing like just up the road a piece from here later this summer. You think we should go?
Oh yeah, probably.
I think it's got like John Stamos and Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Oh,
I heard about that. I'm always joking that like when we take like people our age, take our grandkids to go see the Beach Boys, Mark McGrath and John Stamos are going to be the only original members.
Yeah, probably. And they'll have holograms for the rest of the guys.
Right. Those are going to
I mean, Mike
cheap.
Love has some horrible political opinions, but I'm not on the hate Mike Love train. I think he's kind of brilliant and underrated songwriter. And he's just such a jerk and an unlikable person. He's probably still paying off a lot of divorce settlements and, the payments on houses.
I just love the Beach Boys though. And I'm glad I wasn't incorrect in interpreting.
No, you weren't incorrect at all. No, that's a spot on. And I wasn't trying to hide it. It's, they're important to me, and they're part of, even the reason why I wanted to live in California, I wouldn't say is because of the Beach Boys, but they're part of the mythos that surrounded the kind of lore.
Yeah, they just romanticize California so hard.
Exactly, yeah, and even historically, I put them up there with anything else that has something to do with California history, and they're just ingrained, and so they're important.
You've done some other sort of tribute things that were pretty deliberate, I'd say. What's that song about Skip Spence?
Yes, King of the Coast.
Right.
Yeah, and the same thing that kind of has some melodies for "I'll Come to Meet Her" off the record, or his only album. Mm-hmm. It's not the exact same, but I kind of took the pattern that he was doing.
Skip was not at home when I approached a woman there, confided in me that Skip was acting strange, nearly deranged, smashing all his instruments, giving away his things. A Skip grew out his hair and shaved off half of his beard.
I think you nailed the drums. Like that was what really sealed the deal. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know exactly what's going on here.
Exactly. Yes. It's kind of like, but I like doing stuff like that. And it's a way of, kind of putting myself up there with my favorite guys.
Yeah. And it's like fun Easter eggs for nerds.
Definitely. Yeah. Or other fans. Well, and I make friends that way because people will pick up on that, and then, you have a new homie.
One of the songs that has really been haunting me since I've been digging into your work is the Turkey Vulture. And like we've been talking about California, that song totally puts me in 1970s Laurel Canyon scene.
Well, I appreciate that. And that has some direct references to Robert Altman's son. I forgot his name. The MASH, who wrote the MASH theme as a teenager.
Oh yeah, Suicide is Painless?
Suicide is Painless, yes.
What a pretty song with a very morbid.
Yeah, exactly. Written by a little kid.
Oh my gosh.
And
I didn't know that that was written by a kid? He was a
Yeah,
child?
Yes, the director, Robert Altman, it was his son.
Holy
and
cow.
I can't remember his name, which, out of respect, I feel a little bad for it.
Well,
but,
we'll have a robot read it for us right now.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Perfect. Throw that in.
Michael Altman.
I could put in sound effects whenever you want to, if you want to cue me, like
Oh, yeah, okay. If I think of something, I'll
trombone
let you know.
slide or
Yeah.
or a ding ding
I
ding.
love that.
Louisiana, on the way to Texarkana, blending the scenery to one. I keep driving through the hills that I see flying. A turkey vulture in the sun. Tuscaloosa, there's a one-eyed Catahoula who guards the council's golden doors. He sees the sunrise from his cabin on the hillside. The turkey vultures, they're no more.
Where did we get this retrospective compilation? It's the Wonder Years of Austin Leonard Jones.
Yes.
It's terrific. It's kind of like your decade compilation.
That's exactly what it was based on, too. That was the idea.
Is that right?
Yep, because I made it to a decade, and I had, all the songs, and, the albums are very limited release on cassettes and, vinyl, that one vinyl and scattered 7 inches. And there was no way where you could, I would sell out so quickly, so I'd play concerts and stuff, and I wouldn't have them. And so I combed through and with a friend and picked all our favorites and combined it into that. Yeah, so I could have my decade.
That's great. Yeah, there's nothing worse than when you're like, you do a performance and then people really want to buy something from you and you don't have it.
Exactly.
You're
Yes.
just like, everybody loses.
No, and that's another good thing about being on a record label is I can finally have more copies and, reprinting and
You can say time to reorder.
distribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've been very fortunate that. Yeah, Lou put it out, and we remastered them all, too, to make it, give it some kind of difference, I guess.
Well, it sounds terrific.
Oh, thanks.
And it's a great gateway drug into your pretty deep discography that you've got now.
Yeah, and that was kind of the idea, is to, for newcomers, people to get acquainted with, like a business card. I'd like to think I'm going to do something similar in another 10 years.
Hi, I'm Anna Winter. Do you love listening to Low Profile? There are several ways you can support this show. You can sign up for flexible monthly donations at patreon.com/lowprofile. Those donations help Markley keep this show running smoothly and are vital to Low Profile's progress at the cost of a cup of coffee once a month. If you join the Patreon community, you can get advance episode releases, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and early access to merchandise. If you can't contribute financially, it always helps if you tell a friend about your favorite episodes, share about Low Profile on social media, subscribe for free on your favorite podcast platform, and give us a rating and review whenever you listen. Low Profile also receives in-kind support thanks to these independent Olympia businesses: San Francisco Street Bakery, Schwartz's Deli, Rainy Day Records, Old School Pizzeria, and Schurler Easy Premium Shitty American Lager from Three Magnets Brewing Company. And most of all, thanks to you, the listener, for tuning in. Now, let's get to today's show.
Were you behind any of the cover art or packaging choices? Like, particularly on the cassette versions?
Yeah, I designed that, and my friend Sam Sanford executed it. But I kind of made the mock-up, and then I had him do the watercolors.
So the listener will be able to look at this episode's website and see pictures of it. And can you tell us who we're looking at on these two portraits?
Volume 1 is Merle Kilgore, a country singer, almost kind of borderline novelty country singer. You might have seen him, or Hee Haw. He might have been on that, if you're familiar with that television show.
Yeah. That was still in syndication when I was a kid.
Hell of a face. Yeah, he's got a hell of a face.
Your friend did him justice. And then
yeah,
volume
he did,
2?
Yes. That's Larry Hagman, who is the star. He played J.R. Ewing in the show Dallas.
Okay.
And ironically, he lived in and died in Ojai.
Whoa.
And I kind of have a fascination with that character as like the kind of a fat cat Texan, the archetypal, just sleazy son of a bitch in the big suit,
Okay. Yeah, no, I've never seen Dallas. That's the show that had the controversy with the Who Shot.
That's Who Shot that
JR.
Character. Yeah. I actually haven't seen the show either. But the imagery is enough for me. It's interesting. I'm looking at. I have a little statue of him that I got off eBay. I think it's a decanter, and you pour your booze in his hat, and you wind it up, and it plays the Dallas theme. I think I also like the theme to the show. Like same with MASH. I've never really seen MASH, the show. I'm familiar with the movie. It's not my favorite Robert Altman movie, but I love theme songs.
What's your favorite Robert Altman movie?
McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, it switches, but right now I would say that one.
Did he do Being There?
He did not.
Was that Hal Ashby?
I think so, yes.
Okay, all right. Those guys were kind of peas in a pod in my mind anyway.
Yeah. Hippies.
You sounded like you had a little disdain in your voice when you said that.
Oh, no, I meant that in a loving way. I love hippies.
What's that song where you mentioned hippies? In the
I don't know. I do have
neighborhood.
Oh yes, that's Kind Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Kind Sir by Austin Leonard Jones.
Move out west so the sun shines best, and open up a bar where a sawdust board meets major chords strung from shapely pawn shop guitars. Buy yourself a pickup with a dog that can ride in the bed. Start a career out of honky-tonk tears and songs playing in your head. You could rent out a double wide or a cabin in the woods. Live among deer or hippies and queers in a Listen to sea lions roar. Oh, 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 oh,
The song was originally called David Israel, named after one of my favorite songwriters and a huge influence on me, contemporary songwriters from Austin.
Oh yeah,
He was a guy that when I first moved there, one of the earliest shows when I first moved to Texas, back to Texas after college, I joined my favorite band from high school, called Gulf of Mexico, and kind of a Dinosaur Jr. Noisy guitar band.
Okay.
And I was really excited, really thrilled. And we played a show, our first show actually, and when David Israel opened, this guy David Israel, and he played all by himself at the guitar, just vocal, stripped down, like 6-minute story songs. And I kind of instantly was like, I'm gonna quit this band and do that. Just write my own songs, direct. And it took me a long time until my first record came out. But he was, an inspiration. That whole time he was putting out albums and kind of challenging me to do the same. And I like the fact that he just used his own name. And, it was very... And then I started to see that kind of same thing when I started going on tour in Olympia or Portland. And I met, with that guy Adrian Orange and saw him play. And was kind of, at the time, it's just very different than a lot of the kind of more, I guess, almost 90s influenced rock and roll crap that was going on. And it was just fun to watch. It was fun to be around. And those guys kind of inspired me to put out records under my own name.
Fairly recently, you put out an album that was mostly keyboard music and like sort of dub influenced.
Oh, yeah. Video Shades.
Yeah, I really enjoy those sonic journeys, and it's so different from your other work, but I also can feel it bleeding into your work over your whole recording career.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. It was an older recording actually. It was done after, I think, that album Galveston, like the week after, all by myself.
Yeah. So you're like
in a few days. You're
in the studio with other people working together, and then you kind of get like some creative wiggles out immediately after.
Yeah. I was reading a lot of J.G. Ballard and listening to Kate Bush and reading William Gibson, and I was like, I want to do like a cyberpunk kind of like movie theme album kind of a thing. And especially those books by Ballard, just I was hearing music, reading these kind of post-apocalyptic, very beautifully written novels.
I've noticed a lot of your songs have this like Casio SK something, or like a PT,
the
a
SK.
PT or SK Casio drum beat.
Yeah, I had that SK1 for forever. That was a friend.
It was an
a friend
SK1. Okay.
Yeah, and he lent it to me, and I had that forever, and then he took it back, so that's why it vanishes after like the second album.
Well, for the
maybe the
listeners' benefit who may not know what a Casio SK is, do you care to elaborate on that? On what this machine
I don't know much
is?
about it. It's a little it might even be for children. It's just like a little kind of beginner's keyboard, and it has a sampling feature where you can record like a sound with your voice or something, play that on the keyboard, and then it has little. What I used mostly is the little built-in drums, which would just be like a little loop, and you can build the song on that.
There are people, I am sure, who take comfort in the words of what happens to you when it's time to die. And you have heard pearly gates, read instructions of the faith, seen directions to the palace in the sky. But sleeping on a beach, oh, heaven is in reach. The whales out in the deep are singing softly. So in visiting a town or just hanging around, take it down, do whatever you do, godly. There are people, I am sure, who seek constantly a cure. This happens all the days I do my dancing. When you could come with me, I'm as happy as can be, and a little notoriety could help me. Oh, I go sleeping on a beach. Oh, heaven is in reach. The whales out in the deep are singing softly. So in visiting a town or just hanging around, take it down to do whatever you do, godly. Down, I take it down.
What's your first instrument, Austin?
Oh, it's a nylon string guitar at like 8 or 9. Those real little ones, specifically for kids.
Yeah. That's good.
And just like, O Come Emmanuel, Christmas songs, E minor. Played a lot of E minor for some reason. I also really liked, for some reason, like Something in the Way by Nirvana, like stuff like that. Just
Okay, yeah.
So I think they're easy to play, so I played a lot of stuff like that. Polly.
Sure. So you were a grunge head?
Yeah, I loved heavy music, and I still do. But yeah, I'd say like Nirvana. I mean, I loved from a little kid like all the stuff my parents liked, which I also still do. And that's where like the country music and Beach Boys and Steely Dan, Creedence, Warren Zevon, Bob Dylan. But then yeah, Nirvana was kind of a breakthrough, and then that kind of turned me on to the punk rock, which then became like the sort of obsession. And then, but also twined up in that was like metal and stuff. And I still listen to all that stuff, but I'd say at 18, Mississippi Delta Blues is what just shattered everything. And I just listened to that for like 2 years straight. And then that was when I started to connect with the idea of just vocal, guitar, and lyrics, poetry. And I think maybe a collision also with David Berman.
Oh yeah. What's your relationship with the late David Berman.
Well, he reminded me of those Delta blues singers, in a way. They were straightforward, clean. He also reminded me kind of Michael Hurley, who was a guy, we had that album in the house, Long Journey. And
Long Journey.
I liked,
Okay.
yeah. And, like I said at the time I was listening, the Jesus Lizard was like on the top of my list. And so I loved the like noisy, you can't hear what they're saying, screaming music. But I wanted to write songs where I talked about stuff and you could hear me. And it was kind of, for me, the bridge to, from that to like the country tradition to like the older style, old world of music. And I was able to just find my entryway through those guys to how I was going to write songs. Because it's kind of like you play the hand you're dealt, and I wasn't dealt. Like I'd much rather be like a David Yow, Gibby Haynes type frontman, Darby Crash. But I just don't have it in me, and I can't write songs like that.
Have you ever dabbled in the like I'm just gonna scream format?
Definitely, yeah. And it sounds awful. I sound stupid. Thank God I never did it live. But yeah, we tried. Heavy music is really hard to make. You have to be really, really good and know what you're doing. And it's very hard to record.
Yeah, it's very nuanced. That's for
yeah,
sure.
And so I kind of gave up. Like I said, I listened to it a lot, and I'm still a fan. But I was like, I can't write this stuff. And even going back to being a little kid playing a nylon string guitar, I was like, maybe that's just what I want. And that's still how I write all my stuff.
Wouldn't you know, here comes another night parrot crashing through my life. Some screeching birds from screeching cities rob people of husbands and wives. I don't see anyone at all, not counting drug dealers and dogs. She shot him right between the balls. Pick yourself back up and move along.
You ever eat hamburgers?
I have been a vegetarian since I was in my early 20s. But I'll go I eat veggie burgers.
What's your favorite kind of veggie burger, like patty wise?
No preference. Yeah,
There's a lot on
I'm
the
open to
market
all.
these days.
There's a lot, and it's kind of overwhelming. So
yeah, is it too much?
A little bit. I mean, that's why I'm not. I have no preference. They're all good to me. Any style.
I guess since you've been out of the meat game for so long, you don't really care if the meat like bleeds beet juice or something like that.
No, oh yeah, the new style that they kind of make it. Yeah,
They're impossible.
No,
they're
Yeah.
improbable burgers.
Improbable burgers. Yeah. I think those are probably my least favorite, but I'm not. I can still deal with them. They just confuse me.
Right.
I often think if I order one, I often think they've made a mistake.
Oh wow, it's that convincing.
Yeah, exactly.
Harkens
I'm
back
that
to like childhood memories.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not sure.
You are totally just like debunking the stereotype of a Texan man who does not swear by barbecue. Like it's bigger than that.
Yeah,
Texas is really big, and it has a lot more room for different palates.
Yeah, you can be a vegetarian. I eat fish, and Kyle says that means I'm a Texas vegetarian.
The Kyle Field.
Yeah, which I kind of like. you can. I thought technically be a pescatarian, but Texas vegetarian is better, I think.
Do you still use barbecue sauce for stuff?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's been a while, but if I was around some kind of veggie barbecue thing, I would do it.
All right. Now, well, if you are going to come over for a barbecue, we are not going to get rid of our second grill that is designated for non-meat stuff. So.
Oh, I also don't have that problem. It can be on the same grill. They can touch. They can be friends. I'm not a separatist.
So, like, someone hands you a bacon wrapped jalapeno, you'll peel the bacon off and.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can do that and give the bacon to somebody else or a dog.
Hopefully, there's a dog.
Yeah, there's a dog right by me right now.
Are you? You're a pet
Usually
haver?
there's a dog. Yeah, I've had this one for almost 12 years.
What?
And I can't imagine life without one at this point. We grew up with dogs too.
Okay. Okay.
So I think I've just entered the family tradition.
You want to tell me anything about your dog?
Yeah, well, she's kind of busy on a toy right now, but her name is Shenandoah, Shannon for short. She's weighs about 50 pounds, very playful, likes the beach, loves road trips. She went on a tour once, a little solo tour through your area, and she's done a lot of Texas tours, little solo tours, and she loves it. She's a good companion.
Oh, if I burn a flower, if I take it to the lake, if I go swimming in the summer, giving all the palms a shake, when I turn into the werewolf, when I turn into the bat, hear my voice, I'll start to howl, and my wings begin to flap. You see this nag that I've been riding? Oh, I stole her for a song. And in this hotel we've been hiding, laying stems down on the lawn. Take the trees out of the distance, take the shine out of the sun, take the path of least resistance on your way to having fun.
All right, Austin, we're about out of time, but have you been working on anything new?
Yes, we'll be going to the studio in January of 2023 in Los Angeles to record a new record. Yes, at the Polo Club.
All right. What's that all about?
It'll be revealed with the record, I would say. That's just that's like a little teaser.
Fair
It's like when
enough.
movies just announce the title of the sequel,
Uh-huh.
and the fans have to piece it together. That's what I'm doing with this.
Well, I got to say, I've been heavily indulging in your catalog nonstop for the better part of a year now, and no sign of
Perfect.
slowing. So it'll be a welcome addition, whatever you got coming, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. It's a a lifetime's worth of study.
Is
what I'm going for.
this with a band you've been playing live with?
Yeah, it'll be with them and with some new friends. Kind of a rotating cast. There's quite a bit of us, and some more arrangements, some different new instruments. It's kind of like a very much what you expect from a 40-year-old dude making a studio record in LA.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much trying to fulfill that era. I feel like I've grown into that, and the home recording, literally back home in Texas is over. And now it's, studios and schedules, and I'm going to have a dress code enforced.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking this very seriously.
Oh, good. Yeah. You got to show them who's boss.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm thinking of like the bad seats in the studio. The photographs where they're in these kind of down and out low key studios. Everyone's wearing blazers and looks nice.
You thinking about maybe implementing the James Brown penalty system, or?
Oh, I already do that. I've had people complain about that because it's more of a spiritual tax. I don't actually take the money, but I fine people all the time, and members have gotten upset and complained to other members about it. But that's where we're at now.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah, we're a business. We're not messing around.
Well, bless up, Austin. Bless you.
Yeah.
To the
Thank
max.
you, my friend.
It's been a real pleasure getting to know you, and look forward to future hangouts and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Me too. You're a fine man. Thank you for talking to me.
Hey, where do we send the listener to get your music?
There's the Austin Leonard Jones Bandcamp, and then there's the record label Perpetual Doom. And if you're on the go, there's Spotify and Apple Music and probably YouTube. Pretty much all the standard stuff.
Okay. Great. Well, we love you here at Low Profile
Yes.
Land.
Thank you, my friend. We love you too. We're big fans.
See you soon.
Yes, sir.
This has been the 69th episode of Low Profile with Markley Morrison. My guest today was Austin Leonard Jones. If you'd like to learn more about Austin and his music, you can find links to that on this episode's webpage at lowprofilepodcast.com. The artwork for every episode this season is by Lonnie Morrison, terrific illustrator. Thank you so much for listening today. And if you enjoyed it, why not tell a friend? Tell people on the internet. Tell whoever you think is going to enjoy this. Pass it on. All right, love you, and I'll catch you next time.